Hi everyone, welcome to Melissa's Kitchen Table. Today is Labor Day, so we're having a party, or just having some family over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be making a big batch of spicy coleslaw. We're going to be making pulled pork in the Instant Pot, and then we're going to be making a gluten-free mac and cheese, because my niece and nephew and my sister are gluten-free. So we'll be doing all of that today. To get started, I'm going to start with the sauce for the coleslaw, and it is a mayonnaise-based sauce. And I don't have exact measurements because it all depends on how much cabbage you're going to be using. Sometimes I do like to add sour cream to this, but I am out of it. I don't have any, so we won't be doing that. So I would say this is probably 3/4 of a cup of mayonnaise. And to that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of half and half, or milk or cream, something to thin it down. And a lot of times that's why I like sour cream. It's a little bit thinner. Alright, so for to make it spicy, I'm going to go ahead and use sriracha. And this is the only way my husband will eat coleslaw, is if I put sriracha in it. So I put about 2 tablespoons of that. Let's see. I am going to be shredding that big head of cabbage, so I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of salt, because cabbage could really use salt. And then because I have the hot sauce in there, I'm going to use a teaspoon of sugar. You could omit that. If I make regular coleslaw that's not spicy, I don't add that. And then I like to add a little vinegar. So maybe a tablespoon. So just mix all of that together. And that was red wine vinegar. Sometimes I use rice wine. You can use white vinegar, whatever you have. Alright. So now for the cabbage itself, you can go ahead and put it in a food processor. You can shred it. I just like to cut it by hand. It's just easier for me. It's one less thing I have to clean. So I'm just going to remove all the bad looking leaves. And then I just cut it into manageable chunks. And I just shred. I like to do a fine shred on this. Sasha likes to eat cabbage, so I'm just going to move some. Alright, so let's see. We can see this. Alright, so you just hold the cabbage and slice with your knife. And it's going to be nice and thin. Just like that. The key to getting the cabbage really thin is you want to make sure that you have a really sharp knife. It's very important to have a sharp knife. A dull knife, people usually get hurt with more so. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and shred all of this up, and I'm going to add it to the bowl as I'm going. If at the end there's not enough sauce, I could just put a little bit more on. It's not a big deal. Alright, so I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so I did the majority of the cabbage. I have maybe 1/4 of it left, and I'll just go ahead and cook that up for dinner, for something else during the week. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of these shredded carrots that I have. If you don't have that, you could just shred up some carrots or not use them at all. You could also mix some purple cabbage in here. That would be really pretty. And then I'm just going to go ahead and carefully mix all of this. And this, because of the vinegar and the salt, it will start to wilt the cabbage down after a while, which is what you want it to do anyways. Alright, so this looks like there's enough sauce for right now, but what I'm going to do is as it sits in the fridge, I'll look at it before I serve it. And if I feel like it needs a little bit more, I'll go ahead and add a little more mayo to it. Or even sometimes just another tablespoon of half and half or cream or milk will help. Because I don't want it very goopy with mayo. Alright, so that looks good for now. Okay, so we have one side dish done. And we will be back when I start the other ones. Okay, so while we're waiting, I'm going to go ahead and start getting our shoulder. That's the Instant Pot. I put it on saute so I could saute this. This is a fresh pork shoulder picnic whole. So my mother had bought this. It was $6.29. And it's just over 7 pounds. Alright, so what I'm going to do is go ahead, open this package, and just clean it off real quick. We'll be right back. Okay, so the Instant Pot is heating. I washed the pork. I'm drying it. And then I thoroughly disinfected my sink. Just to be on the safe side. And now this does have a bone in it, which I want to keep the bone. But I'm going to cut some of the meat off because it's not going to fit in there like that. So wherever there's big chunks of meat, I'm just going to cut into it like that. And you just have to cut around the bone. Just be careful where the bone is. It's a big piece of meat. So you could carve right around it. And just cut big pieces. Alright. I do take the skin off. I don't like the skin. So I just try to go up underneath the skin and pull it off of the pork. And of course you could do that with a good sharp knife. You can leave the skin on too. That's up to you. I might leave some of it on. I'm in a hurry today, so we'll see. But that's just how you do it. You just pull your knife right down. Again, a good sharp knife makes the difference. Alright? And then that's the skin. And you could cook stuff with that too. Alright, so let's see. Probably, well, on here I might as well just get all of it off. That's what they make pork rinds with. Okay, so I am going to remove this and cut these into chunks. And then I'm going to saute them in here. We'll be right back. Okay, so here's all that skin. And like I said, you could go ahead and make fried pork rinds with that. But we don't usually do that. So now I'm just going to feel to see where the bone is and cut this chunk of meat off of the bone. This way there's enough room for this whole, to get this hand or this picnic shoulder in there. Because I want to be able to brown it a little bit. And then when I cook it, I want all of it to cook. Alright, so we got 3 large chunks here. This pan is nice and hot. I'm just going to wash my hands and then we'll start sauteing. Okay, as you can see, the Instant Pot now says hot, and it's on saute, so we're all set with that. And I'm going to go ahead and use canola oil, so it has a higher temp. I'm going to put maybe 2 tablespoons in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 pieces in first. just like that. Okay, so we're gonna let those saute. Probably take a couple minutes on each side. Dropped you there. All right, so they're in there. They're gonna saute. All right, so I'm going to turn those on all sides, and then I'll go ahead and put the last piece in, and we'll take them out after they're done. We'll be back. Okay, to this I went ahead, turned it off, added 2 cups of water. I'm going to go ahead and season this liberally with salt. So that's about a tablespoon and a half. And we'll test it after to make sure there's enough flavor in that. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and use just a couple spices. Always garlic. I always like to add some garlic powder. You can use fresh garlic. I'm going to add just a little chili powder. I'm going to use maybe 3 or 4 shakes of liquid smoke. And then I'm going to go ahead and use some smoked paprika. That always tastes and smells like barbecue. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in our favorite barbecue sauce. And I'm just going to squirt that all in there. So maybe a cup. And then I'm going to put this on high pressure for an hour. I'm going to stir this stuff around first. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this on manual pressure, and I'll do it for 1 hour, and I will set it to sealing so it pressure cooks it. All right, we'll be back. All right, so I'm going to show you how to do this. All right, so you're going to hit manual, and you want to hit high pressure. You want to make sure it says high pressure up here, and then you're just going to adjust for how long you want it to go. Alright, so I'm going to do mine for 60 minutes, and then that's going to start, and you want to make sure the top is on, and then up here I'm going to go ahead and make sure it's on sealing. Alright, so now you know it's on. Once this comes up to pressure, then it'll start counting down from the 60 minutes. Okay, so once that's done, you let it come down on its own, or you can use the venting mechanism up top. You can vent it. And then I'm going to take a look and see what it looks like at that point. If I think it needs to go a little more, I'll do it again. That's why I do it a little bit early, because pulled pork, it's not going to dry out. You'll be okay if you have to wait a little bit on it, and that's fine. All right, so once the hour is done, I'll go ahead and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, so it's been on for an hour. I put it on venting. So we're going to go ahead and open it. Well, it smells delicious. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead, take that out, put it on a separate plate. Let it cool down just a little bit so I can shred it. Okay, so I picked all the meat off the bone. I dumped out about half the juice that was left in here. I think I left about 3 cups of the liquid. That way, if you transport it, or if you're just going to keep it on, you know, we're not going to be eating for about an hour or so now. So you could keep it warm, and there's enough liquid in there. You could add more barbecue sauce to this, or you could wait until you make your sandwich and add it. some people in my family doesn't like the extra barbecue, so I leave it the way it is. And then when you serve, you can serve yourself with some extra. And we'll have that spicy coleslaw, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you how to make the mac and cheese. Okay guys, so I'm not sure what happened. I must not have hit record or save. But at this point, what I did is I melted 3 tablespoons of butter. And once that was melted, I added 3 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. I think it's Bob Mills or any all-purpose gluten-free flour. And this recipe is the same if you were going to do it regular and not gluten-free, but we're doing gluten-free. So I went ahead and I put those in. I cooked those for 4 minutes. Then I added 3 cups of milk. While the pasta boiled in the pot, I let the roux cook, and the roux is the butter, flour mixture, and milk. I let that cook for approximately the same amount of time, so it was about 7 minutes total, something like that. And then that is when I added the shredded cheddar, and it was about 3 cups plus a half a cup of Swiss cheese. So again, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly what happened with it. The next time I make it, I'll go ahead and film that again. But that's just what I added to that. Okay, so now I actually have to transport this. So after I stirred it for a while, it's all nice and melty, very tasty. And I just added about a teaspoon of salt for taste. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pour the pasta in. And I'm going to leave it just like this because my niece wants to help make it. So I figure once I get over to my parents' house, I could have my niece go ahead and mix this up for you guys. So once I get there, I'll show you guys the final dish. See you then. Okay everyone, this is my beautiful niece, Brianna. Say hi.
Hi.
And what are you going to be eating? Gluten-free mac and cheese?
Homemade mac and cheese.
Alright, go ahead, try it. See if you like it. Good? Alright, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe. And we'll talk to you next time.